or just having an in-helmet communication system.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that? Because I also was watching Formula One Drive to Survive last night, which I've never watched, and I was getting so into it.
Oh my! Do you know what? I've been telling. Hold on. I hate the fact that I tell you stuff like, "Hey, you know what's pretty cool? This one series," and you're like, "Dude, nah, no worries." And then 4 years later, you're like, "You know what's cool? This drive. Have you seen this Drive to Survive stuff?" I'm like, you frustrate me to no end. But yeah,
it's so good.
It's amazing. Which is, I was talking to Premix Papa about this. I swear to God, this past weekend, and he asked me like, "What's one thing that you would love to change in the sport?" And I love that question. I try to ask it of our guests when they're on the pod and stuff. And I mentioned like, I think what we would benefit from. There's a long list, right? There's a laundry list of things that we'd love to change, especially your perspective being a pro. Like, what would you like to see done at the races? And I was like, you know what? I see what Drive to Survive did for Formula One. If you're not a motorsports racer, you probably have never heard about Formula One ever. Not, I think we've heard of it, but it wasn't in our purview, right? What that series has done was showcase not only amazing racing, but the drama behind the racing, the drama behind funding, the drama behind different seats being open in different teams, just getting to the races, like the whole COVID deal and who's saying what about this guy and it's social media. Now, if you look at that sport, it is so much more polished and clean than Supercross. They have compared to Supercross and Motocross, they have their stuff together like you wouldn't believe. Now, can you imagine all of the drama, the he said, she said, the corruption behind the door, all this crazy stuff that would happen if they showcased it or that they'd be able to showcase on this show? Like, think about it, AJ, like just one of the teams that you've been on, you can pick any team and you could there's a laundry list of, oh my gosh, if like this would be such a good thing to show on a reality TV show, and now multiply that times all the teams in Supercross, we would have 18 seasons. You know what I mean? It would showcase the sport in such a cool way that I think it'd bring in so much more funding, eyes, attention, you name it.
I think it's only a matter of time until that happens too. And when it does, I really, obviously we say this with a bias, but you'd have to imagine it would be really, really freaking interesting because the Formula One, I've never watched a full Formula One race, but I was watching it last night. Mm-hmm. And thinking to myself, holy cow, I could get into this. Like,
yes.
Super. I think season 7 is the most recent one.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And Lewis Hamilton had just announced that he's switching from Mercedes to Ferrari. So it was leaving Carlos Sainz out of a seat, and Carlos Sainz has his appendix taken out. Yep. And then wins the next race, I'm pretty sure. Spoiler alert. But this was, I'm pretty sure. So if it's on Netflix now, that means that
was a previous
2024.
Yep,
season.
previous. And not only that, they showcased the conversation between Toto Wolff, which is team principal for Mercedes, and like Hamilton was his guy. That's a severing of a relationship. Like not even just switching seats. Like Lewis Hamilton and Toto brought Mercedes almost to prominence. They weren't an 8-time team when Hamilton went over there. So all of that drama and all of that, the severing of that bond and what that means not only to Mercedes, but what that means for Ferrari now, having their first black driver and all the stuff that comes along with that. And, dude, it's insane. It pulls you in so much. And we have all that in Supercross. We have those stories. So I mean, it would be so cool. But yeah, after you watch that show, you're gonna want to watch a Formula One race, and you're gonna watch it so much differently than someone who's never watched the reality TV series. You're literally gonna be like on the edge of your seat because you're gonna know those drivers intimately. You're gonna know the problems with the car, the shortcomings with the team. It pulls you in like a different level.
If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, you can do so on Spotify and Apple Music. If you want to send in your own video submission, you can join us in the Moto Academy family inside of the Moto Academy app by just going to themotoacademy.com. That's also where you can sign up for a class. Okay, guys, see you next episode.